Hey there, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Nadia.
Welcome to Navigating New Ground, where we dive into real, honest conversations about navigating life transitions away from home.
We're here to share our journeys, hear yours, and remind you that no one has to navigate new ground alone. So today, we are having a very special guest today, and we're going to be talking about maybe a question that we all have asked ourselves before. Is home a feeling or a place?
Yes, and we are excited to have my former colleague and my inspiring friend from Munster now, Kosh. Kosh and I used to work together in Frankfurt. We used to give each other supportive hugs throughout our tough days at work, and once even dressed like very similarly, uh, like twinning situation at work without any planning. So welcome, Kosh.
Thanks for having me and thanks for this lovely introduction. I'm really excited and delighted to be here, and yeah, really happy to share my journey.
Welcome, welcome. Um, would you like to maybe briefly introduce yourself, where you're from, and what brought you to Germany?
So I'm originally from India, and I moved to Germany some 10 years ago. And this was originally for my master's studium, and then I stayed back to work because I kept finding work which could compensate a little better than the Indian offices. But yeah, in general, it's been a fascinating journey, both professionally and personally.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also share that, like everyone else who has moved abroad, that you also feel homesick from time to time. And when you think of home, do you think of it as a pin on a map or at like a feeling?
Definitely a feeling. I think that it's mixed with a lot of different feelings, and location changes. Yeah, that changes a lot in the surrounding, in the weather, in the way you dress or move around. But it's definitely a feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think for me it's as well. It's actually more of like a feeling than the like a place. Although we always pin it to like a place because, but actually it's that feeling that is attached to that place that
Mhm.
reminds. What about you, Nadia? Do you think it's a feeling or a place for you?
It's definitely a feeling. And then I think, especially now, I mean, so my background is already like a mixture of different places with Indonesia and with Malaysia. And then I was in Singapore and then now in Germany. And then I've also been in three different cities in Germany. And it's like every time you move, you always have to create your own home wherever you are, you know. So then it's like if someone really asks you, okay, what is home? Then I don't think now for me, I don't really think of a place anymore. It's just like all of these different characters from all of the different places that I've been in, and
Mm,
that's something that you carry with you.
mm.
True. Someone once told me like home is a place where you can take your shoes off, and it doesn't have to be more than that.
Yeah, true, true. Especially in this Asia culture, taking the shoes off is really that that feel like home, feels like home. And Kosh, have you ever like is there like a similar routine that you always do even when you move to a new places that makes you feel like this helps me feel more like home quicker than other, like because you were sharing with me when I visit you also, like taking the buses and all. Where you live now in Munster, you always have to take bus to your office, and we took it together once too. And how does that make you feel, like routines like this? Does it help you relate back to your home?
That definitely is a relatable feeling. It's a familiar feeling that I remember very fondly. Like I used to get annoyed by it back in Mumbai. That because the scale is too big and there are always too many people that would maybe uh, join into just to take the same bus ride or the same train ride. And now I feel this is quite relaxed because it's a bit spaced out. But back in Silchar, it's a city in Assam, in the
Mhm.
northeast of India, where I lived, the scale is quite similar to the scale where I live right now. So, in terms of the bus rides, I think that was very familiar. Like also the infrastructure, when you go down, you cross, giant farms of different things. This a similar scenery I would cherish back in Silchar in Assam, and it's a similar thing that I get to see every day when I pass by crossing and moving towards the city.
Mm.
And this I would say that's a very routine thing that makes me feel grounded, also makes me feel like I've not changed completely, like some part of it is still there, it's still intact. So yeah, I would say that that routine really helps me define something, like it's not a big drastic change.
Mm.
I can actually relate to that a lot. That was one distinct moment. I think last year probably when I was going back home to visit, and it's just a very random, routine, simple movement, which is for my moment it was wearing slippers in a shopping mall, going up the escalator, and that wheel of me reaching the, like, it's going up and then you reach the top with my slippers on, and that wheel when I was in summer in Germany going up the escalator, that moment, that felt like home. So I can really relate to what you're saying, like that nostalgic feeling, right? And for me, suddenly that moment, I feel like, I miss that. I want to go home and be in that. It's not even like a significant thing because we do it so often back home. We are in shopping malls and just like a random moment, not a special memory of what. But somehow in this place, going through it the same routine just makes me feel like, brings back all that feeling. It's just a rush of
Mm.
nostalgic feeling.
Yeah, wow. This reminds me of one of Trevor Noah's stand-up where he was talking about this bit about escalator, and like there was the first escalator. I'm forgetting which city, and there was just this one shopping mall. There was just this one escalator, and they would bring like a group of kids just to climb the escalator, and the kids would be so excited just to go up and say scream like escalator.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can definitely relate to that moment when you suddenly feel this rush of home. But for me, it's with smell, and finally,
Mm.
it's with Lipton tea smell. And I guess it's not so much of home, but it reminds me of a memory in my childhood because I don't know if you used to do this, but we used to make black tea with Lipton tea, and then we would have this biscuit that you dip inside the tea when it's hot, and then the biscuit will kind of
Melt.
melt a little bit. Yeah, and then that for some reason just reminds me of my childhood every time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
also understand like this routine, like of having this routine to make you feel more at home. So, because for me, I feel like there is something that I try to um, recreate every time I move to a different city. So for me, it's just important to have a certain rhythm in my schedule of like, okay, I have to go to church, I have to find a community, I have to find a place where I can carry out my hobbies, I have to find like all of these nice places and restaurants to go to. And when you find like these places that are such a big part of your identity, I think that makes you just make the place feel more like home for you.
Mm.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so I do feel like the people play a role as well in how you make that place your home as well. Do you guys have anything to share on that topic of like how people influence a feeling of home?
in India, like I was mentioning, life moves really fast, and a lot of stuff happens in shared spaces, like from
Mm,
studios to living together, like having home companions, trains, the markets, on the streets. So it's mostly like the feeling of home, it comes from the people around you. And like friendships are formed in motion. Some of them they can feel super intense, or you know also very fragile in just short span of times. And I think like also with the story I was sharing about the bus rides before, I think I would join, like it wasn't just taking the route and looking at the similar sceneries, like the farms and stuff, but uh, we have a thing in Mumbai, in local trains, where you just start making friends with the people you travel often with. So you've taken the rides too often, some people will start saving a seat for you. And yeah, I mean, and then they will start bringing you books, or they will start having some exchange. Before you know, you have exchanged WhatsApp numbers, and now you know what time you get in. And this,
really?
yeah, train buddies, they are called.
Ah,
And what I felt was super fascinating was I got to experience the same feeling also in Münster. Now we have bus buddies. People know each other by faces because we all take the same route in the same direction. We know when someone gets up or gets off, and some of them now are also on my WhatsApp list. So this I think I would say it's definitely related to people. And yeah.
wow. Okay. That sounds really nice to have people. I recently, like just this week, I was watching this movie with my husband called Commuter. Have you ever heard of this movie?
No.
Commuter. So it's about this guy who are on trains, and he knows the usual because he has been on this train ride for more than 20, 30 years. And then yeah, it's about how he can recognize those faces, and he has to find out who which stranger actually have this dangerous equipment or something that. And so by knowing those people on the trains, and there's only like six strangers that he has to rule out from, but like you say, he really knows his casuals and like they make conversations, they share stories, and yeah, this is like a nice routine somehow from like strangers being friends.
Definitely a movie I'd watch.
But it's more like a trailer. Actually, it has some
Even better.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. I like it. And so now, Kosh, how many cities have you moved to?
I could count around, this should be the seventh city, if I'm not wrong.
Whoa.
I mean, two or three of them I had no choices because my parents were carrying me around. I was born in Delhi, grew up in cities of Mumbai, Nagpur, and Silchar.
Wow.
And I would include Chennai because my grandparents from my mom's side, they all lived in Chennai. So
Mm.
we would often be there every summer, almost every summer.
Mm.
So it's kind of part of the entire childhood and upbringing, that I was constantly in mixed cultures, different languages, completely different from each other. And then in Germany, around three cities: Frankfurt, Dusseldorf, and now in Münster.
Mm.
Wow. Have you ever arrived in a city and feel constantly at home? Is there any city that you feel like, this is so home? Or do you struggle in every new city that you move to?
It's more like the first year you spend in the excitement of, oh, I moved, and figuring out and what can be done where you're exploring the stuff. So
Like still tourist mode, right?
yeah, like you can be a tourist for almost a year long and still not know a lot of things. Like I think I would also say this for the cities I lived in India. even for many years that I still don't know about it throughout. And I would say I feel pretty home. Like the moment I entered this city where I live right now, it's kind of a small city,
Mm.
Kleinstadt, in near Münster. It's called Telste. And the moment I entered it, saw the Altstadt area, saw the place where I'm going to live, and just took a walk around, I felt like this could feel like home.
Mm.
I didn't do much more apartment hunting. You know how insane that gets, but um, yeah, Thursday for sure it felt like home the moment I entered, and the office where I work at right now, it felt very familiar. Could have been a beautiful studio back in India, or also in Frankfurt. I think that definitely felt like home.
Mm. Yeah, I think, yeah, I can relate to your uh that 1 year of not thinking so much yet, because I think when I just moved to Germany, there was this one moment, one day when I woke up and I was just playing around with Google Earth. You know, there's this time suddenly Google Earth became very popular. So I was opening the app and scroll, like rolling the earth, like going and see how far it is from Malaysia to Germany. And that's when I realized this is like the earth globe and then, like, it's totally on the other side, because if you see in a map you don't feel it, but if you see in a globe, it's really on the other end of it. And then suddenly there's this feeling of like, what have I done? That plane ride from all the way here to there alone.
What was I thinking?
What was I thinking? Where did I had this courage, and how did I make this decision? But that then only I begin to afraid. That's when the reality sets in, like, wow, that's what I did. But before that, it was like, Europe, I want to go here, I want to visit there. And that's when really, really, since that day when I see on the globe, it makes me start thinking, now I'm here now, and here is for my at least temporary home until um for the near future at least. So, like, how am I going to handle this? Yeah, it's very, very scary feeling, honestly.
Something that you could just reflect from a globe, or from Google Earth. So yeah, I think one side, the presence of internet just makes it a bit, it shrinks it a lot. That
Yeah.
even though you're so far away from the location of your origin, just having this very strong connectivity changes that a lot.
I definitely felt this when I traveled to California, and I still don't quite understand why. Because my theory is that maybe because we watch a lot of American media, and then like you just have it on television. Like ever
Yeah,
since I was a
the
kid, it
scene
was
and the
just
setting.
television, exactly. And then finally, I land in the States, and then it's like, wow, this reminds me of something. It looks so familiar, even though I've never been here before. But then also, I feel like a lot of things about the US just reminded me of Malaysia. Or, like, for example, when my friends were traveling with me in Malaysia last year, they were saying that it reminded them of the US, you know? So I think there are a lot of things that were borrowed from these countries. And
Yeah.
somehow just that, like, being in an environment that reminds you of home, like the roads with the curbsides, and then having these
Mm,
like 3-lane highways or 4 and 5-lane highways, and knowing that you have to travel everywhere with the car, and then you're stuck in traffic in the highway. Like, all of these things also remind you of home.
yeah, technically Malaysia urban design refers a lot to the US layouts, and like how the cities are planned, the whole city planning. It's all because those were the times where a lot of Malaysians went to US to study, right, back in like the
True.
generation before us.
Mm,
And now we are more like in Europe and other Asia, other places. But before that, there was like a lot of them in US, and it came back and yeah, did all the urban planning. Although we were like more uh, English colony before, but after that it was just US urban planning. I wonder how that just switched like that. So
yeah.
migration really make a big difference on the next generation of the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, funnily, when I moved to Munich, I've only been in Munich now for 2.5 years, but then I feel like I've been here forever. So that's also like somehow a different way of, I guess, expressing what home is like just being in a place, and then even though you've only been there for a short amount of time, you feel like you've been there forever, and also not really understanding why that is. I mean, I do feel very settled here, and it was super easy to integrate within the church community with all of the yeah, events that they offer, and just the people there. Like you just instantly connect somehow, and that just, I don't know, it just kind of changed Germany for me. It's like being able to say like, I can say that this is home finally.
Mm.
Yeah. So is there anything for you guys? Like I did mention earlier about this smell thing that I had with the tea. Is there anything like that similar for you guys?
Small things giving comfort. Yeah, I mean, I think chai, like a cardamom tea, would be the top on my list.
Wow.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
so just a sip or just a smell of it, somebody's cooking it in the house, that is a instant transport back to. I don't know if you're aware of this word called chai tapri or chai wala. Maybe that's a popular version.
No.
Uh, Chaiwala is the guy who makes tea in tea stalls,
Mm-hmm.
and the area around this tea stalls, this is usually referred as chai tapri in India. And
Ah, okay. It's like our mama.
yeah, it's also called like katta maybe sometimes. But these are like the areas where you would sit, drink a tea with all your friends,
Mm.
buddies or anyone together. And this is a instant transport. So even if I smell this tea, somebody's cooking it, or I'm in a cafe, someone ordered a tea, a cardamom tea, it would transport me back to this nostalgia.
Ah.
Another one I have is also food sweet related. It's called Kaju Katli, and this is a sweet, one of the best Indian sweet made with cashews.
Ah.
And I think there are also some other forms of chocolates or something that, or toffees that are also made in this way, with almond based filling. uh, yeah, as a child, I had very fond memories of it. Like my first thing to wake up whenever I visit my parents is to open the fridge and just to hunt for these things. So
Yeah. I
e- sorry, even now when someone visits me back from India and they ask, what can I get for you, it's always on the top of my list.
nice.
What
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you?
I think for us it's always very food related, right? the,
Oh.
the moment this question comes, I was also thinking about food. And not just like thinking about one food, but like a few food. For me, is I have this comfort food is instant noodle like Maggie. But this has to be curry flavor, and this curry flavor only sort of exists in, I don't know, Malaysia. I know it's from Malaysia,
In
and it's
India, we
different
have
from other countries. And then this taste, whenever I have like a really bad day, then I have very limited supply of it because I have to bring it from Malaysia all the time. And maybe I have like each year I only bring back like 10. So I have only like 10 for 10 bad days. And why I relate to this comfort food is because I think it was like in my memory, that's a food we eat as a kid, and my sister, she will cook it until it's like add on all the vegetable and all until it became really soggy. It's not even like the real proper way of cooking it because you're supposed to cook 2 minutes. But how my sister cook it, make it really soggy. And I like the feeling of us sitting together in a heavy rain day, watching TV, and just sitting on the floor on the by the coffee table and just digging in from the pot. And this feeling reminds me of home. That's why when I have a bad day, I just want to find that feeling again to feel some comfort from home. And so I in Germany I just cook that noodle until it's super soggy. I add as much similar ingredient as I could to get back that feeling. But it helps a lot, I feel.
Hmm.
And then the second one is like this half boiled egg thing with that soy sauce from home. And that's my norm for comfort as well because there are a lot of days when nights when I sleep back home in Malaysia, I will crave for that. And the morning when I wake up, my mom will already prepare that as if she can feel what I feel. And that's that feeling I feel that I keep looking for again. That's why when I miss my mom or when I miss that feeling, I tend to crave for that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So home is definitely a feeling.
Yes.
And definitely related to food in our cases.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and actually that already answer my next question because like how does the way people treat you uh, like business co or some very warm in between makes you feel like home. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference how people treat you. Like, um, warmth opens the door to belonging, and if it's totally cold and transactional, it's harder to connect with people. And I mean, I'm feel really blessed that I made great friends at work, because in your 30s, that's how you make most of your
Yeah.
friends, moving around cities and moving through jobs. But yeah, how they made you feel is like a good, like a bigger quotient of the entire race, if you can call it that. Like, you could walk into like the most beautiful looking city, but if people look at you strange, it's not going to make you feel comfortable.
Hmm.
Or it's also going to, feel off-putting. It will take away your confidence. You will feel something is wrong with me, and
Yeah.
this can keep going on. And it's also the other side of it. If just walking, or in one of these cities, at least in Germany, there's a lot of difference in the street behavior. I remember in Frankfurt, you walk around the streets, they will look at you, they will not say anything. So there is a kind of strange coldness.
Mm.
But in Münster, for example, or you move to Hamburg in this direction, anyone you see any time of the day, they will say Moin, Guten Morgen, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And at
Moin
least
moin.
in Moin, or in our town here, they will just say the whole thing. If it's a good morning, good evening, the entire thing. And they might even add like a small talk at the supermarkets. They will just start this small talk, and these little cues, they kind of make you feel more related to the city, that
Mm.
okay, yeah, this is something I can do. I mean, I also know people who move from other cities and they don't like this at all. That please don't talk to me. I'm just here to carry my groceries. But yeah, for me, it is definitely something like if I go out and someone needs something, someone wants to have a chat, and it's just doesn't cost me a minute to do that. And but it definitely come back with a better feeling than how I was feeling before. Maybe a stressful day at work or something, and just this makes it a bit better.
Hmm.
Yeah. True. If you maybe for those people who cannot relate or cannot enjoy those conversations or small talks are because that's how they grew up with, right? They're
Mm.
used to those culture of like people doing their own thing and not minding their own business. And uh, we at least for us, we grew up in a definitely in countries that are so many aunties and uncles asking how is your day, or like, hey little girl, what are you doing? Oh little girl, how are you? How's your result? Blah blah blah.
That's true. I think most of the feeling of home comes from our feeling of how we were as a child. So
Mm,
if we had
Mm.
maybe relatable feeling from back then, what we see now, I think it also goes to, like, the choice of our partners or the kind of friends we make. We kind of look for these little clues that
we can
it's
relate.
stored in our memories that we can
Yeah.
relate to, that feels
Mm.
familiar. And I think that's what the main gist of a place or a city feeling like home gives you.
Mm.
Mm,
And what do you think about, because right now we are in our 30s and we are all working, and it plays such a, or it occupies such a big chunk of our lives right now. And so I think because we're spending a lot of time at work, then like all of these values or the culture in our work environment that affects us a lot. So how do you see that that plays a role in like making a place feel like home?
Yeah, when my work environment respects creativity and collaboration, I feel like I belong.
Hmm.
Uh,
mm,
I noticed this when I entered this office where I'm currently at,
mm,
as opposed to all the other ones that I worked before. The amount of trust that they showed me in the first weeks, and the amount of freedom that I felt that I had there, uh, it really made me feel like I could do a lot here, I could prosper here. And I think that's when I start with that feeling, it makes me feel like I could stay here longer.
mm,
And that's even before I figured out where the best Asian supermarket is in the city, or like, even with one like-minded colleague, I would say I would feel like I found my tribe, and
mm.
that
Mm.
that it in itself would motivate me to be better.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I can totally relate. Like before this, I couldn't, especially when you were starting your job, Kosh, and I was visiting you. The time I was so lost and um, burnt out, and you were sharing with me what you shared now. Like you were telling me how they were treating you so nice on their first week, and you had the freedom to share, and you're just initiating so many things because you see there's a need, and you are not afraid to initiate. But at that time, I remember when we were sitting by the river with a wine glass in hand, you were sharing with me those, and I feel like those words that came out, the situation that you're trying to share with me, the describe, how you describe it, I feel like I couldn't relate, but I desire it so much, right? I was sharing with you, oh, that's so nice, that's my dream. Thank you for giving me hope that there's such place exists. And now after so many months, almost like 8 months, I'm here and I'm in this new office that also supports me. Like I think your how your office supports you, and now I can understand every single word you say. And I'm so happy because it's true. I think when the environment, especially the colleagues,
Mm.
like you say, just one like-minded colleague
Mm.
will make a big, big difference on your confidence, on your motivation to go to work, and even ideas. Just being able to discuss idea together is just so much helpful to the whole situation and the whole environment. That's why I was so grateful to have you those time, gosh.
I'm really happy for you that you found a spot where you feel also, that you have a lot of freedom, and then you can take a lot of initiatives, because that's absolutely important. Also in our 30s, to be acknowledged for the efforts we put in to think about the companies we work for, because it's maybe most of the times not a usual job description.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
this is something we often come, because we go there every day. It's inevitable that we think that, oh, I'll just do my task and then go back home. It's
Mm-hmm.
you can't just function or assign your brain to think that way. It's going to think about, oh, how can I make this place better,
Mm.
or how
Yeah.
can I make, if I notice something, how can I take care of it. And yeah, it's
And now that you are also almost more than half a year now, did you find a tribe?
So it's definitely been, it's almost a year now, actually, crazy.
We all changed in the same around the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So 10 months now. And I wouldn't say a tribe, but I do appreciate my colleagues a lot. Like there are a lot of colleagues within our age group, and that makes things a lot more fun as well. And, I think also just to know that you're not really so much competing against each other, but you're kind of on the
Mm,
same boat with each other and helping each other. So knowing that, like, okay, I have certain strengths and weaknesses, and then they have their own strengths and weaknesses, and it's sort of like helping each other to share your past experiences, your knowledge, and helping to build each other up. And that's unique and also so important in a work culture, and it makes you just feel safe knowing like, hey, okay, they're giving me the space to learn, and yes, I do have experience, but I'm not the most experienced person in the world, so I do have that space to make mistakes sometimes as well, and to learn from all of these new things that I'm learning from, and
mm,
just to have this space where you're able to grow, and knowing that you're not alone on the journey as well, that you know that there are other people going through the exact same things that you're
mm,
going through. And I have to say, I really do appreciate the German work culture where, it's like maybe if you're staying way too long in the office, they'll be like, hey, go home, you need a life. And just to appreciate that if you are in a different stage in your life, like you're in your 30s, you're married, you have kids, they appreciate you spending your free time with your family and not being invested in work all the time. And just to know that having this healthy work culture or environment means that you are able to spend more time investing in your private life, so that that area of your life grows as well. And so it becomes like this very wholesome life approach, and not just like, hey, I paid you here to go to work and you have to
mm,
invest your
yeah,
entire life in this job.
yeah. But I really like your words cause you use two words: respect, creativity, and collaboration, right? Okay, that's four words, but creativity and collaboration, I think that sums up a lot of things, because by having this freedom of showing and contributing, it really helps the feeling of feeling belong much faster. Yeah, respect where you can be yourself and contribute.
Hmm.
definitely.
So Kosh, if you move already like 7 cities, right? So I guess you move every 2 to 4 years, probably in average. Like, do you build deep roots each time each city you move to, or do you think it's just like not so deep roots, and then every time when you move to a new city you grow new roots, or do you think it's like continuously adding up to it?
I feel like a tree, yes. But yeah, I think I grow new roots each time. They
Mm,
just um, they go just as deep, while they hold you steady. And I mean, I can't say that I care less for the friends that are new, that I made new here, uh, any less than the friends I know for several years or even since my childhood. And also not the other way around. Like my connection with my childhood friends has not become any less deeper.
Mm,
Because I think that's what I would define mostly with the roots. It's the friendships mostly, because those are the ones that you find new. Everyone else is maybe the ones you know from before is maybe family, or um, that you will almost always be connected to. But also it changes with age, like your relationships with them, it changes with age. The relationship matures. You also form mature connections. Maybe this playfulness, this appears just as a faction, in different friendships or in different relationships. Um, but I would definitely say that it's more intense whenever I meet people now, because if I find someone very interesting, a friend, I want them to um, not go away or not run away, because it was already hard enough to find a like-minded person. So I would be a better friend to them, so that they don't leave.
yeah.
But yeah, I might even add that moving every now and then, and then is challenging, that the new friends that you make in the while, while you're navigating new grounds, and that's the ones that strengthen the bond the most.
Yeah, definitely true, like you say. But I think also depending on the individuals, like because there are some people who, when they move to a new place, they don't keep in touch so much with people at home anymore. But for us, we are similar. For me as well, I try to keep in touch with every phase of friends as much as possible. Of course, it's hard, and the format of communication is also changes as we mature through different phases, especially for those who are parents. They can't be spending time with you going for movies or whatsoever. It will become like short catch up, or um, mute, like babysitting together
Yeah.
everywhere we go. Yeah, but yeah, I think I agree with you that like-minded people are very difficult to catch, and the moment you find one, you just hold tight to it. Yeah, that's why. Since how long since you left Frankfurt? I'm so glad we are still friends. Please
Yeah, me
don't
too.
don't go too far. Yeah,
I
even
think,
Nadia, I think we only meet like once in 1, 2 years, 3 years
It's true.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
and yet you guys have a great project going on here. I find it
It
absolutely
was,
admirable.
if you really count like the times we meet, how we start this project, it's really, I think we can count within 10 times, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
We haven't even met 10 times before, like as in like one-on-one meeting.
Yeah, true.
Because we became friends because of mutual friends, not because of like friends.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And
But
then we got
yeah,
more connected because of this project.
yeah, yeah,
It's funny how life works.
yeah.
But
But
yeah, this group mixing somehow is very popular back in Asian cultures. I think I would say that here somehow I notice I don't mix enough. Like some of my master study friends, they maybe not know a lot of my work buddies, and
mm,
but back in India, this would be very popular.
yeah,
Went to school, you went to college. Now the college friends knows your school friends. You get a job, your job friends, or colleagues, they know your college friends. So it was always kind of everyone go to the similar places to party, to drink, to
yeah,
compete, to present, and similar platforms, and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is a bit different here.
Segregated.
Yeah, not just that. I think I myself, I don't even have enough circle of friends here present. Some there are still some days where I feel like, ah, I need my girlfriends. Where are my girlfriends? Because in Frankfurt, my group of friends are like the church friends and also like the work friends. But work friend is still sometimes not many of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we only become closer if I leave the workplace. But I hope that
Mm,
this new workplace will be much better. That we can actually be friends. But until I don't know, sometimes it can be tricky as well, right? Navigating work
mm,
and friends and the
yeah.
line in between. But yeah. But I tend to let my guard down, especially if they are closer to home. Like I think Kosh, because you are from India and now I have a friend from India, a colleague from India, and I feel very related to her as well. But she's also very, very nice in general. But I think you definitely play a part in influencing that.
I'm glad you can relate to the entire diaspora. Because of me, I feel really good about that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't compare her to you, but it's just I when I was thinking, how do I feel immediately at home, right?
Mm.
And just share sometimes share too much. I think
I mean, I try to, I mean, or tend to do that a little less. But the moment someone tells me, like, for example, Nadia, when she told me she's from Indonesia, my mind suddenly clicks, like, oh, I have a friend from Indonesia. I know someone
Ah,
from Indonesia. So it's,
mm,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
yeah. Yeah,
something
no,
you can't escape in your mind, like
mhm.
putting stuff for people
Yeah.
in boxes in your mind.
Mm, mm,
And I think I definitely feel more connected to this Indian colleague that I have at work because, I mean, I have other Indian friends and some of them which I'm very close with. And then it's like, I also love their food. And sometimes these friends would cook for me, and then I love their biryani and, chicken curry or whatever it is. And also here, my friends in Munich, we love Indian food. We're always going to Indian restaurants. And somehow like that attachment to the food and also the friends that you have, it's like, okay, I can appreciate this colleague so much more because there are just all of these little things that connect me so much more to him in a way. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Very relatable.
Yeah, so now that you've moved so many times in like relatively short periods of time, would you say that you have your own furniture that you're moving around to all of these different cities?
Do you mean like if I brought my furniture everywhere?
Or are you just like, are you going to apartments and renting them and they're fully furnished, or did you end up like accumulating things over time?
More like accumulating. Uh, I had a basic step back in the past. Initially, I lived also in Vegas.
Mm.
Then I lived with a partner. Then I lived in another apartment by myself, but my family was visiting, so I had a little extra furniture back then.
I remember those spaces.
But now a lot of it, I've also given away. A lot of new things have replaced. But in general, it's accumulating. I'm not very fond of letting go of a lot of objects. So in that way, I keep having some of the other essence around that. Okay, this should remind me of this. That should remind me of that. Or other than that, it's functionality. But this year, I can proudly say that I own an entire kitchen.
Wow, me too.
Self-built, self-made.
Yes.
Yes, and that feels like
Respect.
in your mid 30s, you'd say that yeah, owning a house maybe is your thing, but no, I think for me, if I've reached to owning a kitchen, I've made it. I've made it.
Not just owning, like you both build your own kitchen like meal by meal. I don't know how you do it, honestly.
That's so
It's,
funny.
just, it's
Yeah.
so tough. When I find new apartments, I try to find one with kitchen. I cannot, like, no kitchen, skip, skip, skip.
Yeah, that used to be me. Now I have I have a kitchen that I figured out how to build.
You go, girls. I think
But
this.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
you
go
wanted to
ahead.
say. I think this question really also it is like the readiness of the heart, because I think all this while when I decided to came to Germany, I only had the plan to come for 2 years for my masters and then I'll go back. That's what I've been telling everyone. So like, oh yeah, I'll just come for 2 years, travel as much as I want, learn the things that I need to,
Yeah.
and open my eyes and go back. So but yeah, I ended up after graduation, my sister was encouraging me to my elder sister was encouraging me to just try, look at the work industry. I mean, you are already there so far. Why not just try? And then if you don't like it, you can always come home. And so I did that, and then Corona happened, and then I'm stuck for some time. But so the mindset of me is that I never wanted or planned to stay put here until I meet my husband, and then we got married, and then I think there was like this internal struggle of
Mm.
accepting here as my home. So every apartment I moved to, I think I didn't really had that motivation. Like you, Kosh, you had this motivation of drawing the floor plans. I remember in office you were showing me like, I'm moving into this new apartment. I want to design it, and you're drawing all the furnitures and decorating all of it to to present who you are and how you feel belong there. And I actually don't had that feeling until I because I couldn't accept that this is my home. I think
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't want to accept. Even until now, my sister just this morning I was talking to her, and she's asking me like, when are you coming home? So it's still like this in denial feeling, like how am I going to tell them ever that maybe I'm not, or because actually I want to,
Mm.
but how, because now it's not just me. And I think this year before I started this new job, like in January, I went home bef- to visit my family, and that was the very first time I think I spoke with my friends, and that's when they reminded me like I can have two homes,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have to only pick one home. Like back home in with my family is still home, but now with my husband is also a new family and a new
Mm.
home. So I can allow myself to design and make it more like what spaces that I want to use, and not treat it as like a temporary place. That's when I only started to add all of this more permanent stuff in. If not before this, it was just like, okay, let's pick the cheapest furniture, cheapest
Yeah.
layout, and when we go, we're gonna just throw everything or sell everything, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. But it's not my stuff or things I like and love. But yeah, I think it's hard. That's why I feel like you girls being able to settle down and decided to build your own kitchen and make it your space. I really, really respect and appreciate and inspire me to. I want to make some space, man. Even as much as it can be only temporary or how long it will be, we never know how long.
Mm. Yeah.
But for that, at least from now till then, it will be your space and your home.
You
Yeah.
definitely touched on a lot of interesting points here. They're like
Yeah.
full-blown conversations on their own. Like,
Yeah.
I can
A
totally
lot of feeling.
understand this idea of you can have multiple homes because you're constantly conflicted. The moment you're moving to another city, joining a new job, there is a part of you can't go back to where you were before, or even moving so far away to a different land. I could share that when I visited India some uh, 7 years ago. This was no, it should be around 5 years ago, and I somehow didn't relate to the conversations of my friend group, even though those are my closest buddies. I've known them, since my childhood, because the environment has changed. The politics have changed. So when there is a heated debate about something, I don't know what I'm saying and from what standpoint, because I don't live there anymore. I don't vote there anymore. So it makes a huge difference on what I'm able to share, or what I'm not allowed to say in from being where I am.
Mm.
In some way, this kind of a privilege situation of being in a first world country. So that definitely it changes like a lot of vibe. But on the other hand, I also think this multi-home idea is worth worth looking into. This also, you can find people, home in people, and
Hmm.
where they live sometimes can feel more comfortable than where you live, or those things always keep jumping. Interestingly enough, a friend of mine, Melissa, your colleague, he asked me one day. I studied masters with him, and we are all also kind of a bigger group, and he asked me, so Kosh, when will you be done with all of this? When are you coming back here? So the coming back was always like, it is always going to be a forward move if I plan to go back to Frankfurt. So somehow the idea of home is also Frankfurt, because that's where I
Mm.
started the
Ah,
journey of
we are waiting for you.
like, Kosh, when are you coming back home to Frankfurt? So that's also like a parallel thing, apart from the house or the apartment where I live in.
Yeah, yeah, because your community is waiting here. Hi.
It's funny. I can relate to both of you, like everything you both said, because I lived in Stuttgart for 4 years before moving to Munich, and I have my community there. I love my friends there, and I still visit them quite often. So maybe like twice every year, I would visit them in Stuttgart. And every single time I'm back, I always get this joke question from them like, so Nadia, when are you moving back? Now that you had this great weekend with us, do you want to move back now? And they also joke about like, oh, I'm praying this boomerang prayer for you that you will come back eventually. So yeah, but no, and then also with like what you mentioned about the kitchen and the furniture and like making your place home. This is the first time my entire time in Germany when I'm living alone in my own apartment. And I have to say that made such a big difference in making you feel like you belong somewhere. Because before it was always in Vegas. And yes, you can belong to the place there, but it does make a difference. It's like you kind of feel like there's no permanence there when you're living in
Mm.
a vacay. Like, okay, I think I'm just going to be here for a few years and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to see where life takes me. But then really investing in making your home just makes it feel like, yeah, maybe I'll be here for the next 10 years and that's fine because I can have this luxury of just coming back home from work and entering into my apartment knowing that this is mine. And I
Mm.
love how I decorated my apartment and all of these things. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, true. And Kosh, we are all studying architecture, and you studied architecture in India, right? And we studied in Malaysia. And coming to Germany, architecture is a whole different climate, different materials, different laws, and even different like workflow. How did that influence your feeling of home, or even your feeling of your identity?
I think we are touching on a very vast subject, but which can be an
Very
episode on its own. but
true.
but absolutely, architecture makes you sensitive to spaces. Lights, proportion, textures, and the awareness can make you feel like a place is yours very quickly. The surrounding, the way your colors light up your spaces, the objects you place within this kind of architectural setup. um, it definitely adds a lot into how you look at spaces, and how closer you feel to a space when have this familiar feeling from the textures or the spaces or the light depth that you felt in another place before. I would say it's parallel, that of familiarity.
Do you know? I'm sure you know, but like, do you know, like Kengo Kuma, right? And do you know like his philosophy of how like these five senses plays a role? You know this theory of his.
Find it absolutely fascinating, yeah.
Yes, and I remember he once shared in a documentary about um how the smell of rain. I think they have like a Japanese term for it. The smells of rain when it hits the ground. That you know there's this smell where you
Yeah.
smell
Yeah.
after it just rained after a hot day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That smell, yeah. When he said that, whoa, it really hit my heart and inspired me to be such a good architect like him that notices such sensible things. And I was so inspired by that because I think like being architects ourselves, right? This kind of things form so much of our brain, and actually it's all around us. It's just whether we like him put these feelings and things into words or not. And when we do manage to do that, it's so powerful.
Absolutely.
And if we manage to do that in our designs, it's even more.
Yeah, I mean, somehow the kind of architecture that I'm involved in currently is far away from Kengo
Me
Kuma
too.
and Jeffrey Bawa, and all the architects that you would
Oh,
admire
Jeffrey Bauer.
while
What
studying.
am I doing now? Cause what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, into data centers and logistics centers. I mean, I would say that we have come more into the functional, um,
Hmm.
this object oriented, or
Mhm.
how the city functions, and more like functional architecture, because
Yeah.
these are the current needs. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we
We are
we all
definitely supplying for the needs instead of like this theory, literature, feeling part.
definitely, like I started studying architecture when I was 16, and in this super young age, I'm sure you both also started around similar ages, but at this young age, when you start studying a subject that you feel like this might be very cool, you become sort of a comrade. uh, you know
Comrade, that's the word.
yeah, you
Better
practice it,
together.
and it's kind of a patriotism you have towards architecture, that I'm going to solve problems, and the urban problems,
Change the world.
the city problems, and you're researching every project, and you're researching every of these fictional clients as they are real people, and you would make an entire case of how they live, how they could psychologically feel, and how these spaces will make their lives better, their days better. And when you practice this from 16 until your mid 30s, you've had you've trained to think as a as a carer, as someone who is constantly going to be sensitive, um, emotional about other people's needs, about the city's needs,
Mm.
about solving problems. So that part doesn't go away, but just the form of it, of instead of embracing textures and materials and going for the most costly marble or finishes, you're changing that to still making a good product, something that works, something that helps a client, because the client's wish is also for the city. He
Mm,
also maybe thought in a way that, yeah, my supermarket chain or my data, data center, uh, the one it is going to support, it's all meant for the city. So in a larger scope, we are all kind of trained to work for the different cities that we work at, and to enhance their products, enhance what people need. So that
mm.
part is never going to go away, although the
That's
way
true. You
we
make me feel better now.
yeah, I mean, all the positives of Anthropocene, uh, you can just relate it back to our bad habits of being addicted to our mobile devices, or that's what we need most of our data for. And because
Yeah,
now we can't afford to do our own farming, we rely on supermarkets to get our foods from, to get our stuff
Mm.
from. So
yeah.
you
Without
can't feel bad about it.
without data centers, how could this podcast be in 3, 4 platforms at the same time in different formats?
Definitely.
Those are large formats, and we are reaching like episode 10. There's like 10 videos of four different formats. I know, safe in 4 different places. It's a lot, and that's
Yeah,
just
this
two
is
of
definitely, yeah.
yeah. We are definitely covering a vast discussion right now because yeah,
Mm.
This is an episode on its own, I'm telling you.
Of
yeah.
course, of course. And what about language? How do you think that makes you feel at home?
Hmm. I think home as shared language, like even if it's theoretical, yeah, if you can connect to someone through ideas or humor or shared challenges, then that's a form of home. Think even if you're discussing some of the most abstract theories of
Mm,
what if, or if things worked like this, this is also a shared feeling of home.
yeah. Yeah, I like you say about shared humor, shared. I feel like, cause you are also part of my home in Germany, because it made me. I still remember the, I don't know, this salmon, paprika, onion thing that you cook for me that made me feel so much at home. Although that was my first time visiting your home, but I just suddenly feel that feeling. I think the language, and also the jokes that you shared, and yeah, and the challenges that we go through similarly. Like Nadia, you also like part of my home in, like when we I visit you in Munich, and how we spend the Christmas with
Yeah.
Charlene in Munich. Those are all home feeling, because those are all the core memories, right? The
Mm.
languages that we shared, and the Christian faith language growth. I think really all of this most, so it's more, all the more shares that home is such a complex thing.
Mm.
It's not just a feeling, it's also like a thing, and it's also like a
Mm.
place, and it's also like people, and memories and celebrations. I don't know, so many different aspects
Mm. Mm-hmm.
to form into this word.
Yeah. 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 And I think it's interesting how when when I compare all of my Malaysian friends with my non-Malaysian friends, even if they're internationals, it gives me a different feeling of like feeling at home with them because I'm able to relate with them on a different level, or maybe it's just like I'm able to talk about food that only you guys are able to understand, or like say a specific term about something that is Malaysian related that no one else is able to understand, and just like that one particular word that's able to connect us and that I'm not able to find with anyone else who doesn't understand what I'm talking about just because of that word or that language. But then on the other spectrum, it's also like being able to connect with people from different backgrounds, like with all of these international friends that I have, knowing that they grew up with a different language. And yet,
Mm.
just because you are in the same city together and maybe you have shared beliefs and you're able to connect on like some level spiritually or your sense of humor or experiences or whatever it is, then they just make you feel completely at home. And it's so bizarre to think like you can have something tangible and non-tangible, and yet both of them just make you feel at home.
Mm. I wish one day this podcast can also be like a home feeling for people to even feel related to, because really definitely it is like I like the challenges we face together and how we sharing our struggles right now here openly to y'all and also to the listeners. I feel like this is like why we do this in the first place, right? Like I feel related to you, Kosh, because of what you shared with me and how you were sharing your transitions. And then that was why we started even having these ideas in the first place, because we were saying like we're having so similar um, struggles that we passed through during just that 1 year. It's just crazy how being related can makes you feel belong.
Mm, it's
Yeah.
true. Mm.
I
So,
relate to the thing that Nadia said about the cues in some languages that maybe someone else wouldn't understand. And I have a feeling like when I travel in December this year to India, I might have this feeling again for the German language.
yeah.
I've already been mixing some German words in English now because I
Yes.
feel like I don't have another replacement in English. And
Mhm.
I have a feeling I'm going to be hated for it.
Oh, this means that the German part of you is growing.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
I don't know how I feel about it. I still have to still think about it.
It's a very complicated feeling because I think yeah, same struggle as me. If like the more comfortable I feel here, I feel like as if I have to let go a bit of that part there. But actually it doesn't work that way. I don't have to give up there to live here or give up
Mm.
here to go back to there. If I think that it's like 100% thing, and in order to gain this 50% I have to take from this 50%, then I feel it's a big struggle for me.
Mhm.
But if I change my mindset into thinking like this is 100% on its own and this is 100% on its own, and me coming here more is just going to add up like 105, 110, and I'm not losing any part of this while gaining
Yeah.
this, then it is like a whole different perspective and I don't feel so bad. And I think in certain things, definitely the 24-hour time is, we cannot add on more to that, but feelings and memories and food that we eat, it's all, I think that could go more than 100%.
Mm.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And yeah, and we don't necessarily have to lose, like we still can speak English, right? Yeah. Okay. So now if you move to a new place, do you think which part of you are bringing with you? Is it like a thing or a feeling, or what do you think? It is like a skill, or do you think that these things differs or changes? and it is something that you can bring along with you.
I think for me, home is a feeling that I carry, and places hold memories, but the feeling comes with me, like, a favorite song
Mm.
that I would hum anywhere. It's not attached to the place. Also, like how people made me feel, how they treated me, how I was treated. It's a feeling, and something from that is what that attaches to the memories that I made more. And then when I move to a new city, it's mostly that what I bring with me. That here I felt good. Here I felt comforted. I felt I was supported, and that's the feeling that I bring forward.
I think for me, first and foremost, it's like learning that if I have to move to a different city, it's because God is blessing that move or like that change in my life. So it's not like I just want to move because I want to move without any real concrete reason, but it's knowing that in this new chapter where I'm moving to, it's going to be a blessing because God has a purpose for me there. So, it's like building a home wherever you are, knowing that this is a new chapter that God is opening up for you. And then also, second to that, it's bringing everything that you've learned from all of the different
Mm.
places that you've been at. So it can be the language skills, it can be just any skills that you've accumulated over time, like maybe learning how to cook the local food there, or just anything that you admire about wherever it is that you've lived in. And bringing those skills along with you, but then also the things that you've learned in the sense of like how I learned to set better boundaries here, or I
Mm.
learned to appreciate my free time more, or I learned how to pick up like all of these hobbies that I never thought that I would be able to pick up, and just taking all of these things, all these experiences, these learned skills, and then taking that with me to the new place.
Both of you are so how to say poetic. When I think about moving, at first I was thinking like you, and then I look at around my house and the amount of stuff that I have
On the other side of the camera.
outside here, the scene that you don't see. Because as ironic as we say that we just get the most simplest furniture, and like the moment we say let's go, we can just throw everything away, and this is a lot of stuff that I am going to throw if I really just say like let's move. But yeah, I think that's that's the reality part, and the poetic part is true. Actually, we don't need those things, and we can always just bring like this most our curated self, curated as in like seasoned in different places. Mix
Mm.
a bit of German spice, English spice, Frankfurt spice, some grüne sauce in you, and some, I don't know, bratwurst here, and some Hefeweizen there. And yeah, and all the love we felt in different places, right? The good and the bad stuff. That's something definitely we can and should bring along with us. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, nice.
Sounds good.
So we're going to wrap up this episode now, and we're gonna play a childhood game. I don't know if you guys remember. It's called Name, Place, Animal, Thing. What is the first thing you think about when you think of home?
It's challenging.
Who's going first?
You
Whoever's ready.
I'm not ready.
Okay, I'm ready. First thought of home. I think I will go with the letter K and explore that. So, name is Kosh, the one person that has been constant in the whole moving around for me.
Oh.
Not to sound narcissistic, but I really relate to me the most. Place is Katta. It's sense of a place. It's more like hangout, a place to hang out with your friends to not do anything together. Mostly just to talk, to drink tea. It's called maybe different in different cities, different regions, but it's always present or omnipresent. The animal I will go with is kabutar, which is a pigeon in Hindi.
Oh.
But pigeon because it's no less than an animal. It's they're all around and they're in abundance. And this was also like from back in Mumbai, we had abundant of pigeons, and in Germany, it's the most common bird everywhere around. And thing is kaju katli, this Indian sweet with almonds.
Mm, nice.
Mhm.
That's hard to find the case.
Mm. Are you ready, Mel?
Me. I think for name, I would say the first thing I think, okay, that's not a name, but like more a noun. Like I would say for me, the name is like God because for
Hmm.
me, I think so many things have changed from I'm young to now and all, and the only thing that I think didn't change is this feeling that I have for God, and I feel like that's the only constant thing because family change, friends change, I myself changed the most, and that's why I feel like my God, or like at least the God that I follow, is the same so far, and I'm grateful for that. And yeah, so that's that. And then place, when I think of home, I still cannot, I cannot deny this. I still think of Malaysia. As much as I do not feel comfortable there, I still struggle because like this few days the weather feels exactly like Malaysia or even hotter, and Kuala has been saying I wanted to say Marrier times many times. How are you going to go back next week? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like I cannot get used to that heat. But yeah, place in Malaysia. Oh, but I'm supposed to follow a alphabet, right?
I thought you would go by something like Kuala Lumpur, and then
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But M, I don't know. My God.
yeah, why not?
Cheating a bit, yeah. And then, okay, then I go with an M animal. But I don't, I'm not good at playing this game, honestly. I lose a lot in this game because I cannot think.
You know, there are also complex levels of these games. You can also add like objects and separately birds and rivers, and keeps
Yeah,
getting
yeah, I
tough and
know.
tough.
I'm so bad because my geography is so bad, and my vocabulary for transport and
I think you're
animals.
between languages. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of
Yeah,
tend to forget everything, you know.
I okay. Just forget about all the alphabets and my animal. The first thing I think is like chicken because of the eggs.
Okay.
And yeah, and also my mom, she her zodiac is chicken. So yeah, and mom, for me, my mom feels like home a lot.
Hmm.
And for me, think is the part that's difficult for me because I don't relate anything to home.
Hmm.
Maybe my family house, that's a thing. But even that is bound to change since my mom passed. So I think, yeah, I think I need a new category. I think if it's a people, oh, I can say a lot.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, or a feeling, I can say a lot. But like, yeah, this four category, unfortunately, it's very limited for me to define home. Okay,
And
your
so
turn.
for me, I'm choosing the letter M. I do have to say that I relate a lot with your answers, Mel. But yes, so name is mom. That's who I thought of. But then her name is like her first name is Maria, so that's fitting. And
Lucky you.
yeah, I know. Place is also Malaysia because if there's one place that I do miss or feel homesick about, it's Malaysia. Animal monkey because of all the monkeys that you find in Malaysia. And thing mangosteen,
Oh, so I can see where your heart lies.
of
Your
course.
home is definitely still very Malaysian.
Hmm.
Kosh is also quite Indian. Yeah, I think that's where we feel home, at least till now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kosh. Thank you for your sharing and your time today. It's really so nice to have this conversation with you. I couldn't find a more suitable people to talk about this topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, thank you. This was also such a thoughtful conversation, and it's also rare to pause and, unpack what home really means. And I loved sharing my journey and also to learn about both of yours. So, going to really
Yeah.
cherish our conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
to our listeners, thank you for joining us on Navigating New Ground. We hope today's conversation gave you some insight, support, or just a reminder that you're never alone in this journey.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a comment, and share it with someone who might need it. You can find and follow us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
Until next time, take care.